So this past weekend, Laura and Heather and I co-created and gave a workshop on the first three of the 5 remembrances, or the 5 recollections. The Buddha called them the 5 facts. So they are, the first 3 are being human. I'm of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape growing old. Second is being human. I'm of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape ill health. And the third is of being human. I'm of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. So it was very important to work with these 3. The fourth is all that is near and dear to me, and everyone I love is of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. And the 5th, my actions are my only true belongings. I am heir to and cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Even from stating these facts, or remembrances, or recollections, calling them remembrances or recollections softens it a little bit. We see that we have a choice in even believing them. We can turn toward them and have them inform our living, or we can turn away from them in denial. It's magical or delusional thinking. If we don't think we're aging, subject to ill health, will die, there will be loss, and that our thoughts and actions matter. So it's a balance between our living and our really enjoying our living fully, and an awareness of aging, ill health, and loss. Snoopy said it very well in a cartoon that Heather found. So Charlie Brown and Snoopy are sitting on a dock overlooking a beautiful lake. Charlie Brown says, "You know, someday we'll all die, Snoopy." And Snoopy says, "True, but on all the other days, we won't." So in the book, The American Way of Death by Jessica Mitford in 1963, that book broke the dam of denial, of American denial. It was an expose about how funeral homes overcharged, greatly overcharged, a consequence of our collective aversion to the reality of death. In all aspects of our lives, there's a price to pay for not paying attention. Our attention is linked to our intention. A reason to turn toward this 5th fact, that we are heir to our thoughts and actions, is that if we better understand the possible consequences of what we choose, we can make better choices. Tanisaro Bhikkhu writes, "Each time you choose one course of action over another, you're making a wager as to the consequences of your choice. This is especially true if the choice is between something easy that promises pleasant short-term rewards and something hard that promises great rewards, but only after a long time. Will the harder choice be worth the effort? Will the easier one be irresponsible in the long run? As a person embedded in time, there's no way you can know for sure." The Buddha taught, however, that choices do matter a great deal, and that awakening, in going beyond the dimension of space and time, gives perspective of how choices operate within these dimensions. You see that choices are real, that they do make a difference, and that the consequences of your choices can shape not only this life, but for many lifetimes in the future. Prior to awakening, you can't know these things for sure, but as the Buddha states, if you want to gain awakening and minimize suffering in the meantime, it's wisest to assume these principles as working hypotheses. Of course, that's taking the Buddha at his word, which, as long as you haven't gained awakening, is a wager too. Behind the choice is our intention, and we've learned that our actions follow our thoughts. As the mind inclines, the Buddha wrote, it keeps inclining in the same direction, like down train tracks. Or a more current expression is, as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. Keeping our thoughts and actions skillful leads in the direction of happiness, and unskillful ones lead in the direction of suffering and harm. Part of the belief in rebirth is that sometimes actions take longer than a person's lifetime to work through. There's the argument that since the concept of rebirth already existed in India before the Buddha, that the Buddha just kept it. But other scholars say that no, rebirth is, the Buddha saw rebirth as very important in order to understand the larger picture of cause and effect and its relationship to codependent arising. It's interesting to think how sometimes karma, the result of our thoughts and actions, our choices, seem to happen very quickly, with the speed of impermanence and change. And sometimes it takes a while to unwind. Many years ago, I mildly bumped a car in a parking lot in the Whole Foods of Durham, where the parking spots are very tight. I was in the middle of a divorce, was exceedingly upset, and thought, oh, good grief, I can't handle this, and I can't handle the expense. It looks like a new car. And I drove away. I got about 2 blocks to the next stoplight. I stopped and thought, good grief. I turned around and zoomed back to put a note with my name and phone number on the windshield of the car I had bumped. I was very relieved to find the car was still there. And what if the person had left? And relieved when I got the call from the car's owner and paid for the repair. How would I feel, I thought, if I came out of the grocery store and saw a new bump on the side of my new car? And how could I sit on my cushion tomorrow knowing what I had done? The karma cops, I figure, never sleep. Another way to say all this is that we can plant the seeds of greed, envy, ill will, and delusion, or the seeds of love and generosity. We water the seeds with our attention and actions. What seeds do you water? What do you want your garden to look like? In a sutta, the Buddha says, monks, these 2 people are hard to find in the world. Which 2? The one who is first to do a kindness, and the one who is grateful for a kindness done. In saying these 2 people are rare, the Buddha advises us to treasure them, especially as it shows us how to be rare ourselves. These virtues can be cultivated, and it's best to do them together, because each needs the other to be genuine. We can tell kindness is genuine when you actually benefit from the other person's actions. You trust the motives behind those actions, and you sense the other person had to go out of his or her way to provide the benefit. No one wants help that isn't really helpful, or given in a calculating way, or an offhand or disdainful way. Through the quality of kindness, you can see the intention behind it. This all works best when we see that the goodness in life is the result of cooperation. Seeing the cooperation, the enormously high degree of interdependence we have with everything, made the world make sense to me. Interdependence is a very profound truth. We can intend to cultivate kindness through the Brahmaviharas with an attitude of metta or loving kindness towards absolutely everyone. Have compassion, equanimity, and be glad for others' happiness. Another doorway is that we can cultivate gratitude. We seem to be a society that complains a lot and is seldom grateful. There's been research on the effects of gratitude. In addition to positive health changes, which are decreased pain levels, better sleep, stress relief, reduced anxiety and depression, and increased energy and vitality, researchers have found that feelings of gratitude are related to optimism, life satisfaction, hope, spirituality or religiousness, forgiveness, empathy, and pro-social behavior. Gratitude is negatively related to depression, anxiety, materialism, and envy. Strategies that may enhance feelings of gratitude are journaling about things for which you're grateful, thinking about someone for whom you are grateful, writing or sending a letter to someone for whom you're grateful, meditating on gratitude in present moment awareness, or undertaking the Count Your Blessings exercise, which means at the end of the week to write down 3 things for which you are grateful. You can also practice saying thank you in a sincere and meaningful way, writing thank you notes, or if you're religious, praying about your gratitude. So I thought this would be a good moment to notice the effects of gratitude for oneself. So if you could arrange your seating, your chairs, turn your chairs around a bit so that you're in groups of 4. We did this on Saturday and it's certainly worth repeating. Is that person say just one thing that you're grateful for, and then go in a clockwise direction so the person to your left then speaks, and then the next person, and keep going. We'll do this for about 10 minutes or so. Now don't get performance anxiety, because you can always say what someone else said, or you can always repeat yourself. Okay, just one thing. It can be large, it can be small. We're certainly grateful our car runs. We're certainly grateful we were able to walk in here. There's lots to be grateful for. So let's go ahead and begin, and I'll ring the bell after 10 minutes. So let's just sit for a moment and soak in what everybody said in your group. You want to take a minute and really savor it, and savor what you said. Noticing if you feel any different in your body, especially in your heart space. So please take a minute and thank each other. And we can all thank each other. And look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same space. Drive gently.